My friends, let's get this started. Wanted to do my weekly outlook video for AMC. Before we jump into the video and the charts, you guys know the deal. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. Everything I am doing is for educational purposes only. So I hope that it is helpful. I hope that you are becoming more educated. If you are, please like and subscribe, share, talk about it with your buddies, all that good stuff. Helps make the channel grow. But this is going to be my video that's going to be a little bit longer, just kind of talking about what do I see in the overall market for AMC. Talk a little bit about GME. If we're not running too long, I'll also jump into BBIG as well. So if you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. Also, too, I'm getting to the point where people are messaging me about fake accounts all day, every day. I promise you I won't DM you asking you how your trade is going or asking you to send me crypto or anything along those lines. So please don't be fooled. Please check the actual account. Right now it looks like I'm a little over 19,000 followers, like right around 19,600. So please just always check the follower account, the username, all that kind of stuff. Also, too, before we get into the video, everybody take time today to send a little prayer up for all of our armed services, men and women. A lot have paid the ultimate sacrifice for me to be able to sit here and talk to you on YouTube and everything like that. So just take time out of your day to remember those who paid the ultimate price for us to be able to do and get to speak and just be as free as we possibly can. So I think that's important. That's how I want to start the video. All right. So once again, follow me on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. And then, like I said, nothing I say is financial advice, but also take time out of your day to send a little prayer up for all of our military servicemen and women. My entire family my entire extended family is pretty much all service members. So it's always stuff that hits home for me. All right, my friends, let's jump into the chart. So I've got basically just a blank AMC chart up here. I just kind of want to walk through and let's analyze the chart, take a look at what we're seeing, and then we'll talk a little bit about my cycle chart. We'll talk a little bit about GME, and then we'll get on out of here, let you enjoy your day. So first things first, where we're at right now is definitely a critical area, so that way we don't start running into lower lows. So first off, thank you. I think my video yesterday, I was looking earlier, I was shocked it's already over like 6,000 something views or anything along those lines. And it's fun to talk about all-time highs and everything like that, but we're not there yet. We need to see some volume coming in, everything along those lines. So it would be nice if bearish stuff got just as much attention as bullish stuff. So right here, we're definitely at a critical moment with AMC to avoid any type of lower lows. So we've kind of been in this area. And where we are right now is, ironically enough, we're at that pre-June run area. Excuse me. Can't talk today. So we're at that pre-June run area where we were accumulating before we saw the markup in June of last year. Okay? And there's a lot of similarities about what's going on right now, except all the moves are bigger and more volatile and everything like that. So that can be both good and bad. On the upswing days, it's very good. On the downswing days, it's very bad. So, but we're getting into this trading range, like I said, once again, that pretty much happened in the pre-June run. So everything that's kind of right in here is all of our pre-June run. So we're coming up to some pretty important resistance. So if we look right here, we can see that what was previous support when we originally came down here on January 24th, and we never broke below this line, nothing significantly anyway, up until back here and on May the 6th, okay? So from January 24th to May the 6th, this 1450 area was providing support. I think I saw where we finished, AMC finished on Friday, kind of right around that 1450 range, 1443. And then in after hours, it is actually a little bit over that at 1461. And I think I saw somebody saying in the German market today it was at $15.11. Don't quote me on that. Go check that for yourself. But I know I saw that multiple times from people. So If that's true, then we're starting to peak up here just a little bit. But what was previous support is now going to act as resistance. That's how resistance and support works. So I would definitely like to see a big push up, back up in here, towards the upper teens, getting up into the 20 area. I would like to get back up into this range, essentially right in here. That would be a great goal for this week, is kind of getting back up into this range. Of course, I'm okay if we go higher faster, but that's going to depend a little bit on the overall market. If the overall market keeps running, then I think that we will too. If we go over here to SPY real quick, then we're coming up on an important moment here. So if you take a fib retrace from the COVID crash to up at our top, we were coming down in here. Hold on 1 second. Let me check something here. So guys, what I'm about to do is I'm about to take my fibs off a log scale. So when I'm charting in log scale, I do usually look at my log scale fibs first. But you'll be able to see that both log scale and non-log scale fibs are going to have different areas of reaction on the stock. So this is going to be looking at it without log scale turned on the fibs, okay? And if we look at it from the COVID crash to our peak up here at about 480, you can see that we had a 382 bounce right here at this 380 range on SPY. Now, what I said when that happened was what I would look for is a retest of the 236. So coming back up here to 418. And right now we're at 415. So once we get up here into this 418 area for SPY, we're going to want to see a push through the 236 with volume. So here's what's concerning about this move that we got going on right now is we've had a big push up from 380 to 418, but look at the volume. The volume is not drastically increasing with this push. So what does that mean? That means my concern would be that this is a little bit of a fake pump, okay? Just an automatic reaction to coming down here and hitting this 382 fib. Computers automatically start buying to test up to the 236. And like I said, the volume is decreasing. So that's not necessarily bad if once we get up here to right around this 418, let's just call it the 420 range, once we're breaking through this 236 fib, then we're going to want to see the volume really start to increase with that. So that's kind of what I'm keeping my eye on as far as SPY and the global market is concerned. So going back to AMC, the big Fibonacci that we've always looked at is going to be right here. From the buy button collapse, and I am going to turn log back on with the fibs. So let me change colors here so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, so we're coming up here, and as you can see, let me get rid of this line. But the 618, so the golden pocket is right here at this 1437 level. And obviously we're breaking above that. Now, unlike SPY, here's what I like about AMC. So AMC rallied with the market, but what do we see right here in AMC? We see a volume increase instead of that volume decrease like what we saw on SPY. So this, to me, now it's not just amazing volume, but it is higher than average volume. You can see right here that all this volume that has come in, and I'm sorry, I don't know how well you guys can really see that, but all this volume that has come in is what I would describe as above average volume. So on our moves up, on our push-ups, that's what we want to see. When AMC has done its best is when the global market has done its best. So this all looks really good here. Also, too, obviously, we've got the catalyst coming up of the GME meeting. We've got the AMC meeting. We've got the GMC. Just combine them together. Might as well, right? They pretty much act the same. So we've got the GME stock split coming up, all that kind of stuff. So There's a lot of potential catalysts. The executive order, I've already touched on this on my last video. I'm not banking on that thing at all. Obviously, it sounds like good news, but what do we always talk about on this channel? Proof is going to be in the pudding. I'm not going to get excited about anything until it's actually happening. So we'll just see. But I think that goes into effect June 3rd, which is obviously this week as well. So right here, we're at the important level for AMC because we're getting up here, which was our 2 major resistance points before we had the pop on the June run. So we want to see if we get rejected right in here, then that's going to lead to a spill downwards. And I'm just drawing an arrow. Obviously, we won't just crash through all that. There's going to need to be... obviously there's going to be levels and stops along the way and everything along those lines. But we are at a critical point to really start getting back towards the upside and pushing these levels. So if we break the 618, then the next big level I would be looking at on, once again, this is all more macro basis, so the when in doubt, zoom out. If you're new to my channel, you're one of the new subscribers after my video yesterday. I think I've already seen I've grown like 150 subscribers. So once again, first off, thank you guys very much. But also too, if you're new to my channel, I talk about a lot how there's a lot of noise that goes along in stocks. There's really certain key levels, just like I showed you on SPY. There's going to be key levels that are important to break through with volume when we get to them. I was... if not the only, I was one of the few people who called out our top at 34, and I called out the potential top when we were like at $18 or $19 that we could go up to 34, get rejected, and then come all the way back down, and that is exactly what happened. So, we are there are a lot of things that are good and excited moments. Excuse me, there's a lot of good things that are happening right now with AMC stock and reason to be excited for sure. But I think we should all take it as cautious optimism as of right now. So once again, looking to get on top of this golden pocket here. Now, we are starting to break out of, some major, downtrends that we have been seeing. I talked about this line a lot. Right here, I still think is the big one that we need to get through. So from the all-time high, right over here in September, it's where we had the break. We had the retest and fail. We came down here, we tested it again, failed, came up here, tested it again. Once again, if you're new to my channel, this is where I really thought we were going to start moving and seeing more upsides. Not necessarily squeeze, but I thought we were going to see, upwards towards all-time highs again. Fully admit that I was wrong on that because we had the retest, or excuse me, we had that break. The break came on decent volume, and then we had the retest, and then we started pushing back up. When I became concerned is when we started pushing back up, and the volume wasn't coming with it, and then we crashed back down. Then we had 3 more retests, crashed back down. We had the big breakout here on great volume on the 226 million shares traded day. But ultimately, then we got halted and came back down. I'll show you in a second. That's why I think it's part of kind of the cycle. So getting up here to around, that 1750 range is going to be where we start breaking this type of downtrend. Now, if you take it off of log scale, and this is what everybody's talking about right here. So this downtrend, now once again, obviously everything I do is pretty much in log scale, but this downtrend right here is going to be what everybody's talking about. We had the break and the push up with increased volume. So that is definitely a valid thing to keep an eye on. Definitely had a breakout here. Once again, to get this breakout, you have to be out of log scale. And as you can see, I do my charting on log scales just like institutions. So, but that's what, if you see it and you're like, well, you're not showing the same breakout, you got to look at it once again, apples to apples, my friends. So, let's get in here a little bit more micro now. So now I'm on the 15-minute chart. So here's what I'm kind of looking at as of right now. So, and this is what I tweeted about, did my $100 giveaway on and everything along those lines is what's going on right here. So what's nice is, once again, macro perspective, we did make a higher low right here. So from here to here, we made a higher low. That's a good thing. We want to see higher lows and higher highs, obviously, for our bull thesis to stay intact. But once I started seeing this move right here and I saw the volume increase with it, I started looking at this as a micro wave one. Okay. And so I'm going to show you here how pretty much it played out perfectly from an Elliott wave standpoint, and well, I mean, is playing out perfectly. So wave one, we had the push up. Wave two, we got the retrace. On wave two, the most bullish retrace is to the 382. So once again, if new to my channel, the 382 and the 618 are your most common retraces. However, AMC does like the 786 a lot. But the 382 and the 618 are the two most common retraces to keep our, once again, our bullish momentum intact. So came down here, tested the 382. Then a great sign is once we got here to the top of wave one, we had a breakaway gap in the push up. So where could we be going? The most common move for wave three is the 1.618 of wave one. So wave three potentially could come up here to $16.09. Now, when AMC has really decided to move, as I showed in yesterday's videos, the 3.618 and even the 4236 have been hit multiple times. So the 3.618 would be the most bullish move, and that would take us up to about $21.25. Now, just like we did, it's not just going to be a straight line. We're going to have some resistance all along the way at that, 1750, the areas that I've already highlighted that are going to be resistance. But I think the 1.618 on a more micro move is very reasonable. Now, once we get there, then once again, be looking for a 382 retrace. So from the bottom of wave, or excuse me, from the bottom of wave two, if we come up here to the 1.618, then I would look for a pullback right here to about that 14, let's call it 1450 range, before we would then push up again. And from there, we could look at, see it there to there. Then that might take us up to either the 20 range, would be the 1.618 on that. Usually wave 5 is going to match up pretty closely with wave 1. So wave 1, let's see here, that was about a 23% move. So where would that take us from the 382 right here? So about the 786 up to about 1750. And once again, this is what I'm looking for on a more micro basis. Okay, so I think 1750 would be very bullish for this upcoming week. Obviously, it's going to be a short week. Now, as I've always said, all things are possible with volume. So if we get massive volume coming in, or if we get a massive catalyst, something comes out with GME, a stock split, or through their meeting or anything along those lines, any type of catalyst that moves one meme stock usually moves them all. So that would be, I think that's a relatively conservative. I think 1750 is very doable if we have a good overall market. Now, fair warning, before I started to make this video, I also saw that somebody reported that Chinese airplanes were flying into the Taiwan airspace and everything like that. So if tensions start getting raised, if fear comes into the market, we're going to see, some big pullbacks. Now, I do think that an overall massive catalyst like the GME coming out and announcing their split or anything along those lines, I do think big catalysts can over trump the overall market on individual stocks. But if we don't get any really bullish news or anything like that, then that is definitely going to be a problem. So, and if we look at GME right here, I mean, it's just in a massive bull flag. Now, not always, but typically these patterns will break out of however they entered it. So if this was coming down and in a big pennant, the most likely continuation is more downside. Since obviously it's coming in to this massive pennant, the most likely situation is going to be breaking towards the upside. Now, once again, that's most likely. That's not a guarantee or anything like that. Somebody was asking me the other day too, like, well, can you actually use fib extensions on GME or anything along those lines? And the answer is you absolutely can. If we do this from its all-time low at that, let's see here, right before it started getting real crazy in April, we take that to its high, to its low. I mean, just look at this right here. You can see how well, right there, rejected off the 618, right there, rejected off the 618, right there, rejected off the 382, right there, rejected off 382, right there, rejected off 382, right here, rejected off the 236. And then didn't quite make it up right here, but let's get in here nice and close. Almost a perfect rejection. Well, once again, off the 236. So, if you're new to my channel, I say this all the time, but I mean, just don't believe when people say that TA can't be used on, these meme stocks or anything along those lines. It absolutely can. It absolutely respects level. And just like I say with any of my TA, everything is not a crystal ball. What TA does, in my opinion, is it's going to give you your most likely moves, and that's what I focus on. I focus on what do I think is the most likely thing to happen. So if we're looking at a fib, on this big macro movement right here, then you can see that the 0.5 basically offered the support once the buy button was taken away. The 236 offered support for a long time, and then it offered rejection points, and like I said, you can see right here, it just got rejected off the 236. That's not a great sign right there. So the most likely thing would be for it to come back, and once it's rejected. Now, this could just be a little bit of a cool-off period, okay? As far as I'm concerned, it's been rejected, but it's not a clear rejection, okay? So the most likely thing, though, on a more, macro basis, if I was just looking at this and had zero bias whatsoever, I would be like, okay, if you don't see a good solid break and continue to move towards the upside, then the most likely thing for you to do is come back here, and retest either its local bottom, which it's bounced twice off of pretty hard at that 78 level, or even all the way back here to the 382. I think doing that, I just don't see that happening with how many catalysts are coming up for GME, unless just the meeting goes terrible, or the shareholders vote down the split or anything along those lines. I mean, I would be surprised if that type of move happened. Okay, if we're looking at the same idea is what we looked at for AMC on GME, then if we're looking at this right here, so we go from our low to our high, yeah, this is very bullish, barely even came below the 236. So move I would be looking for GME, so the 1.618 would be the 224.21. I think that's a likely upside target. And these are all going to be respected, along the way. As you can see right here, just on the fib extension, when I got here to the 236, it got kicked off. So it's gonna, it's gonna have to, it'll work its way through, get kicked off. I mean, it's gonna do, one of these kind of moves, just like it did one of these kind of moves. Okay. The only way you're gonna see just, straight up green arrows is, once again, if you get some type of great catalyst going on with it. But that's pretty much overall what I'm seeing on GME. I focus most of my time on the AMC chart, but obviously GME and AMC pretty much move in tandem with each other. So let's finish up today with the cycle chart. So this is going to be the cycle chart that I'm comparing. Now, I usually look at them when I'm looking for moves. I look at them both on the 30-minute chart. However, for today's purposes, I've got my left chart of what happened pre-June. That's on the 30-minute. My right chart is going to be on that, I believe it's 3-hour. Yep, on the 3-hour chart. So time is what I always stress when it comes to any type of cycle theory. Not everything is going to play out one for one, and the time can be different on the movement. So the reason I've got it on the 3-hour chart is, to me, is these are what look the most similar. Okay, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've said it's similar movements. We are just this particular, fractal, if you will, that would be playing out is just taking a lot more time than before. But if you look at the similarities here, which is once again all I'm pointing out, but when you had the 1348 cross on the 30-minute chart, pretty much happened right here. Very similar as to what happened here. Then it kind of came down here, made this W area, and then once it crossed, oh, that was a bad line. Apologize. Give me an arrow. Once it crossed about right there, then it pretty much stayed that way. So we're about to cross on the 3 hour right there. So I would be, my main thing that I'm going to be looking for is, once again, not exact one-for-one movements, but what I would be looking for is this right here, kind of this similar upwards accumulation. So somebody was asking me about it the other day, kind of what levels I was really, looking for, because that's what I use my cycle chart for. I use it to compare different levels of where we could see breakout volume, so on and so forth there. So the big area that I'm looking for, as you can see back in June, once we broke right here, this $10.64 level, so it was, a little bit better arrow. So it was right here, this little stop on the way up. So this little stop right here on the way up before the halt. So that level over here where we are right now is about $22.18. So what I'm going to be looking for movement wise is this upwards accumulation to kind of continue up towards this yellow line. And then once we get up right around in here, I mean, you can see right here, the volume really started pouring in at that point in time. So I'm going to want to see some big old volume start pouring in once we're starting to get, right in here or so. And obviously everything can move faster, all that good stuff. All I'm pointing out is what I'm going to be looking for and important levels. So slow, steady upwards accumulation is what I'm looking for right now, going into this next week. So what did I say? I said a great week I think would be around 1750. So, if we finish this week, basically saw some movement, like this for this week, I think that's a super win in my book as far as I'm concerned. So overall, that's what I'm going to be looking for. As far as AMC and GME are concerned, we've been going long enough, guys. I'm not going to dive into BBIG quickly. I saw a 13G filing was filed for BBIG, a company, I don't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but a company came in and bought like 10% of BBIG. That's why you saw the big volume spike and the price spike on Friday. So I think that is a great sign. Also, too, I'm just going to continue holding my shares. I was able to escape my covered calls and puts this last week. I was almost assigned on my puts, but when that 13G filing came in, I was able to close out of my puts with maximum profit. And when I say puts, I'm talking about the cash security puts. I'm not talking about, betting against it. So calm down, Karen. So I was able to close out of that. So I've got some dry powder available for BBIG this week if we get to some levels. But overall, if we can get a good overall market, we're going to see continued moves to the upside. And like I said, there's a whole lot of catalyst on the table for a lot of the stocks that I talk about. So I'm hoping for a good overall market. I'm hoping for a good catalyst, and I'm hoping for good price action. If things don't look good, we'll always be ready for that. So real quick, downside target wise, assuming we don't go any higher, which I think is highly unlikely based off of how Friday closed. Plus we got T2. Sorry guys, I got here or something. So we've got T+2 settlement dates. So my overall, I would say I'm about 70-30 to the upside this week. But if we do start, coming down a little bit, then 1337 is going to be the 236. About 1270 is going to be the 382. $11.77 is going to be the 618. So that's really about as low as I want to retrace, but I still think we can get some more movement out of wave 3 if we've got a good overall market. Once we get to the top of wave 3, like I said, let's just assume for now that it's going to be the 1.618. So once we get to around 16, then I think we'll see the cool off at that point in time. And I'm sorry, I didn't go over any indicators, so let me just real quick on a micro perspective. I'm looking at the RSI. Oh yeah, so yeah, the RSI, getting a little hot. Once we get above this 70 area, that's when we're getting into overbought territory. Once again, if you follow me for a while, I'm big on RSI. We don't go over 87 before we have some drastic cool-offs. And currently we are sitting right at about 70. So we do have room to run on the RSI on a micro basis. Let's go to the daily. We've got room to run there. Yeah, we're just now getting into bullish territory. So we're going to see some pullbacks and some cool-offs on a micro perspective, but macro perspective we want to see. I think I saw the 4 hour starting to get up there. Yep. So the 4 hour, we're at 63. So still room to run on the 4 hour. But, once again, this is what happened back here in March. Once we got up here at this 87, then we saw the halt and the major pullback start to happen. So we definitely want to keep our eye on the RSI as far as what we're looking at, both micro and macro, as far as when we might see some cool-offs. But everything overall is looking very bullish for AMC. So in the short term, for sure, I'm definitely expecting. What are we looking at EMA wise? Have we recovered any of our EMAs? Yeah, nice. So a test of the 50 EMA, about 1550, most likely. Once we first test that 50 EMA, we might get rejected off of it, come back, test the 20, everything along those lines. But that looks great. Yeah, we're back on top of the 13, coming up here to test the 48. That looks good. MACD, we've crossed over. MACD is showing a lot of good moments. So, it's just like I said, I'll let you guys get out of here. Everything is looking good. There will be some bearish moments where we'll pull back. That's where, once again, if you follow me when it comes to any type of options or anything like that, buy the low IV, sell the high IV. And at the end of the day, do what's best for you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Do what's best for you. If it's really green trade, if it's worth a screenshot that you want to show to your wife or your husband or whatever the case may be, then it's time to probably at least either think about selling, trim some, or flat out sell it. So at the end of the day, do what's best for you. Lastly, briefly talk about the Discord. I am going to be starting a Discord, about to go to the Bahamas for about 10 days on Thursday of this upcoming week. So I plan on sitting down and really ironing out what I want my Discord to look like. But I know it's going to look like not just, I'm not just going to get in there and post and call out plays. Just like I talked about the Elliott wave theory and why I did my calls, there's going to be reasoning and thought process behind every single trade that I give you. It will not be about YOLOing or get rich quick or anything like that. I didn't get rich quick. I got rich over a long period of time, making a lot of really good disciplined decisions. And so my Discord is all going to be about taking a few select people and really taking them under my wing. I want to help in all areas of life that I possibly can. And so it is not going to be, I'm not going to be trying to have, 500-600 members or anything along those lines. I'm just throwing darts right now, but off the top of my head, like maybe 50 to 100 people is all I'm looking to take on, because I don't really want to take a small group of people and really mold them into some awesome traders. So anyway, there will be more information coming out about that once I get back from my trip. But other than that, you guys, let's have a good week. Stay positive, good, bad, or ugly. I'm holding. We're in this together. I'm accumulating more shares. We'll get there. If you believe in the play, I believe in the play. We're going to get there. Have a wonderful day, my friends. I'll see you on the market, on the Twitter, all that good stuff starting tomorrow. Have a great day.